Let's turn to the Vatican, where Pope Francis's plans to fix the Holy See's finances are meeting some internal resistance. Joining us now is government reporter John Filane, who's covered the Vatican for many years and wrote a book called City of Secrets that looked at the murder of a Swiss guard. For those who don't know, John, what is the Roman Curia and how does the Vatican Financial Office operate? Take us into the tension here.
Sure. Well, it's a lot of smokes and mirrors, very, very difficult to decipher. Basically, the Roman Curia is the administration of the Vatican, the Holy See. So it's all the different departments which are based in Rome and which administer the missions of the Vatican, including, of course, the whole network of embassies, the ambassadors called nuncios. And the problem with trying to understand the finances of all this is that the Vatican actually divides up the budgets of these different entities, the city-state, the Holy See, the foundations, into 4 different parts, and they're not consolidated, and not all of them publish their budget.
So, what is Pope Francis's attitude toward money, and how has that changed since he became Pope?
Well, forgive the pun, and it's a mission. I mean, basically, he came in before he came in. There were discussions amongst the cardinals before the conclave that elected him, and the focus was on a more open church, a more transparent church, and very much a focus on financial reform because of previous scandals, which of course go back decades. So Pope Francis sees this as his mission, as a task, according to the people close to him. And he has been doing many, many different reforms to try and make the church finances transparent, and also to align them with international standards.
Well, the Pope has the power, right, to reform this. I mean, he's the boss. So well, why is he meeting ostensibly, right? Why is he meeting such resistance here?
Well, look, I was talking to one of his top advisors who made the point that it's supposed to be an absolute monarchy, but he does not have absolute power. And there are these middle-ranking, high-ranking officials across the Curia, across various departments, for whom holding the purse strings is a privilege, is a power, and they're very reluctant to give it up. So he and his team, he's named some new people. He's taking people from outside, professionals, business, finance figures. They're having a hard time in some quarters trying to push his changes through.
So given what you've learned in your reporting and your experience covering the Pope, does he actually have a chance of succeeding in these reforms, or does he face too much internal resistance to actually make anything happen?
Look, I mean, it's not me saying so. It's the people who work with him. The biggest challenge is changing the mentality. We're talking about departments where, as one official said, we don't talk to somebody on the other floor in the other department in the Apostolic Palace. That's the biggest thing. But he is so determined. The people who talk to him quote him saying, I won't stop. We've got to keep moving. We've got to keep ahead. We've got to bring people in to make these changes. And he has done really quite a few reforms, edicts, decrees, set up new commissions, set up new task forces. He's stripping away the Secretary of State, which is the most powerful department. He's stripping away their funds and going to move them to another department which is more specialized in handling economic matters. So he's determined. Yes, there's opposition, but he really has made some changes. And people close to him argue that if scandals are coming out now, it's also because of the changes, because there are checks, and because it's the prosecutors of the Vatican who carried out an investigation.
So, John, what is the relationship between the connection, I should say, between what the Pope wants to do to the Vatican's finances and the way that he wants the Catholic Church to be viewed and received around the world?
A good point. It's basically they have to practice what they preach. He has from the beginning stamped a very humble image on the papacy. Remember, he refused to go and live in the Apostolic Palace. He chose the Santa Marta guest house, which is a sober hotel for the clergy. In his encyclicals, in his speeches, he's denounced the iniquities of the global economy and of finance. He's taken a stand for the poor, also in his trips. And basically, he wants, he's aware of the power the church's finances. It's not a huge amount, but it's a symbol. He's aware of the power of that symbol, and he wants to clean that up to be in line with what he says about the global economy.
Perhaps it's too early to ask this question about the Pope, but given what you've seen over the last few years, what will his legacy be on what he did to the Catholic Church?
I think the legacy will be readdressing the balance of the church. So he's made it more global. He's from Argentina. There was a very strong Italian hold also within the conclave, the body of cardinals who elect the Pope. He's made appointments and made that more international with many more developing nations. And there is his stamp on the financial reform, and also an attitude where, without going against the doctrine of the church, he is trying to project a more open, a more embracing church, whether it's concerning homosexuals or the poor, many different sectors of population, and he is trying to reach out to them.
Bloomberg's John Filane in Rome. Thanks so much for joining us on Quick Take. We appreciate your time today.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.